Stephen asked a question that comes up a lot, okay? I've been thinking about getting into kettlebell training again, but I want to get some heavier kettlebells. If I can clean and jerk 150 pounds, so he's going to use double 62s, okay? Should I look at that as the same load as a 135 pound barbell? Or should I go with double 70 pound kettlebells, making a 140 load total? I don't want to get 53, thinking I might light overall, but I want to know if your input on this. I'm stuck on 62 or 70 double kettlebell. Please let me know what you think. Thank you. So trying to equate a 150 pound barbell clean and jerk to kettlebells. Well, it comes down to this. How good is your kettlebell technique? I mean, there are some things we can do with barbells that are actually easier than kettlebells and dumbbells. I'm thinking like the bench press, incline press, military press. It's a lot easier, I think, to press. I think it's a lot easier to press 215 than it is to press two beasts. They're basically the same weight, but with the beasts, you got that independent suspension issue as you go up. And if you lose the groove on either side, you're in a lot of problem. I think almost universally for most people, the double 32s are as heavy as you should ever go in most home gym situations. I have the Beast. I have a bunch of 36s. I have a bunch of heavy kettlebells. But frankly, we use those for suitcase carries, for one-arm shrugs. Obviously, sometimes we'll do them for swings and things like that. When we do that conga line clean and press, I'll use that. Most people just deadlift it and move on. They don't clean and press it. Once you get above the 32s, you need to master those lifts. You need to be good at them. But for your specific question, instead of trying to imagine and do this intellectual discussion, the best thing I can tell you to do, Stephen, is put your 62s on the ground, which I'm guessing are 28s. Put your 28s, your 62s on the ground and clean and press it, and clean and jerk it, and see what happens. You'll probably find the first couple of times you do it that you'll be a little unstable overhead with the jerk, with the kettlebells, only because, again, independent suspension overhead, you can't just lock one side down and the other side obeys. They're going to keep moving, which is why I always recommend in our certs an exercise Dick Notmeyer had me do all my career, and it sucked. Every time you do a jerk, at the top, you do these tiny press outs, a little bit of elbow bend, and it really builds up the serratus muscles, those finger muscles here. But also it brings those shoulder blades underneath, and it really teaches the lockout. Now, the problem with that is I have been in meets where I've done press outs after the lift because that was so ingrained in me. I quickly learned not to because I got red lighted for doing it. But I think when you get those weights overhead, and I'd go as light as you could, do a few of those Dick Notmeyer press outs, get a sense of things, how that's feeling, and then experiment. This is going to be a personal experiment for you to see how it goes. And for those of you thinking about buying larger, bigger kettlebells, as best as you can, try them first. I don't know what your kettlebell community is like in your area, but I've had people ask me about 60 kilo kettlebells. Well, what would you do with a 60 kilo kettlebell? I mean, just moving it around the gym is going to be a workout. And honestly, how often are you going to use it? So always reach out in the kettlebell community. There's a nice subreddit called /kettlebells, I think. Really good group. Ask them about their experiences. You can ask me about mine. Maybe go over to the Dragon Door area. You can also just, go to the forum and just ask other people about what kettlebells do they actually use. I have 4 20 kilo bells, and by far I might have 6. Pardon me. I have 6 20 kilo kettlebells. And those are by far the most popular used in the gym. And even though right next to them are double 36s and 24s and everything, they just don't get that used comparatively. And I think one of the most important things about a home gym is you have to use every piece of equipment, because you have to defend it with, where you keep your hammer, your screwdriver, your mower, all the other stuff you have, Christmas stuff, how it goes in a home. Fine question. Thank you, Stephen.